Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is directed once again by Peyton Reed, and in this film, Scott Lang and Hope Van Dyne are transported to the quantum realm along with their family to face Kang the Conqueror, played by Jonathan Majors. And before this movie came out, I was watching a lot of non-spoilers reviews and articles, and a lot of people said that they felt very conflicted. They had mixed emotions towards this movie, and that's how I felt. After I left the movie, and I was looking at the Rotten Tomatoes score, and the first time I saw it, it was 53%, and then it dropped down to 48%. Guys, that is like right down there with Eternals. It doesn't deserve that score. So, sometimes I agree with Rotten Tomatoes, sometimes I just don't. But I don't think it deserves, that score. I do believe Quantumania is way better than Eternals. Yeah. And, not only that, but people were, critics who saw the movie earlier, at the world premiere, people were saying that this is like Marvel's Star Wars. Like, there was a little bit of Star Wars in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, but there is, some of that brought over here to Quantumania. There's a lot of creatures here that look like something you would see in a Star Wars movie. But yeah, in the Star Wars universe. And after watching this movie, I definitely get that vibe. So yeah. So I thought, Jonathan Majors I thought he was amazing as Kang the Conqueror. Like, the last time we saw him was the season 1 finale of Loki, but that wasn't Kang, that was, a different version of Kang, He Who Remains. But he's dead, and this is like a different version of him, Kang the Conqueror. And I do feel like this is not the last time we will see Kang the Conqueror. I feel like we'll see him later down in the future. But yeah. Let me see. I thought Michelle Pfeiffer, her performance was amazing. I mean, of course, because, if you think about the plot, in the second movie, she spent like 30 years. She said that she spent like 30 years in the quantum realm. So she's met some people. She did things. She met some people. So it makes sense, like, when they get into the quantum realm, that she's the leader. She knows where to go. She knows who to meet. So yeah, it makes perfect sense. But yeah, after Thanos, people were saying, who could be the next Thanos? And let me tell you, Jonathan Majors he did such an incredible job. His performance is so incredible here, and it really shows his acting talent, And I'm just so proud of, Jonathan Majors, because before he was cast as Kang, as the villain of Ant-Man 3, we just saw him in Lovecraft Country, and he was freaking amazing in that show on HBO. You guys, if you haven't seen Lovecraft Country, see it. Jonathan is amazing in there. But anyway, here, like, he does it, like, Jonathan as Kang the Conqueror, he just doesn't care. He doesn't care who to kill. Like, he will kill, he will kill whoever he wants, he cans, and, he's so... He is menacing. He does pose a threat to, Ant-Man here. But yeah, I do love Scott Lang, Paul Rudd. I just love Paul Rudd in general. He's such I've been watching a lot of Paul Rudd interviews. He's so funny and amazing. And I feel like he is Ant-Man. He is Scott Lang. He's made the character his own, and I'm very proud of that. Now, comparing Quantumania to the other two films, I would say the first one, there's something very special about the first one. I really like the first Ant-Man movie. There was something very, it was very special. It was very unique. It was a heist film. You have to capture, he has to, capture and steal. He has to go into all these different places. And his talent of, being former thief, really shows. The only thing I didn't like about about the first film, excuse me, was the obvious comparisons between the first Ant-Man and the first Iron Man movie, and also the villains, and also the villain Yellow Jacket in the first Ant-Man movie was so, like, he was just oozing, I'm a bad guy. Like, he was just oozing that. Like, you can tell, like, the way he's talking, the way he's putting his hands on, like, other people's shoulders, and, like, this guy is definitely the villain. He's so creepy, he's so uncomfortable. Yeah, he's the villain. Like, they're not even hiding it. But he was such a one-dimensional villain. The second film, I was really disappointed. I was looking forward to it because I liked the first the first Ant-Man movies, but the second one, I was looking forward to it. I went out and I was just hugely disappointed. So, okay, look, the second film, he gets a new suit, and then, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, it malfunctions. He goes big, he goes smalls, like whatever the plot says it to. So, and also it felt like I was watching a 2 hour like Hot Wheels, car chase, like a commercial. It really did feel that, because like the hero and the antagonist are literally chasing, whether it's by foot or by ants or by vehicle, like some sort of transportation. They're literally chasing after this shrunken laboratory to get Michelle Pfeiffer out of the quantum realm. That's it. That's the whole movie. And meanwhile, they're taking detours here and there, and there's so much garbage, like MCU, Marvel, stupid humor, and a lot of them did not work in that second Ant-Man movie. If you like those two movies, if you like the second movie, that's great, but I didn't. But I will say that Quantumania is better. I would place it above Ant-Man and the Wasp. So, of course, obviously, the first would be the first Ant-Man movie. Second would be Quantumania. And third is Ant-Man and the Wasp, the second film. So that's my ranking for that. So 1, 3, 2. But, yeah. I just, when it comes to criticisms and critiques, it's really directing towards the plot of the film. There's a lot of decisions that I won't say, but there's a lot of decisions that the plot and the script and the stories and the characters that they all make, that a lot of them made no sense. And there might be a couple, maybe one or a couple plot holes in this film. You can definitely tell. Like, I was watching this film and I didn't notice a whole bunch of plot holes, but I did notice one plot hole. But there's a lot of decisions and executions that the script made with the characters' actions that I was not a fan of. It left a bad taste in my mouth. It just, it wasn't good. I didn't like it. There's also some tonal inconsistencies. Kang is so serious. He's such a serious, threatening, menacing villain. And meanwhile, you have Paul Rudd, narrating his life after, Endgame. And he's just walking around, hey, hey, what's up? Thank you, Spider-Man. It just, the tone just didn't really work at some parts. And also the same goes with the pacings. There is exposition here. I mean, but that's, I feel like every movie, especially comic book superhero movies, they have so much exposition, some more than others. And I feel like you need that, even though I feel like it's a cliche and a trope, or a trope, whatever you want to call it at this point. I feel like you need that. I feel like you need exposition, excuse me, because, if you don't give exposition, then we, the audience, we're going to be left dumb, stupid. We're going to feel dumb, stupid, not understanding what's going on. So you need characters, taking time to really explain what's going on. And you're like, oh, okay, I get it. So there is that here. But yeah, I feel like, the movie is called Ant-Man and the Wasp. But unfortunately, I love Evangeline Lilly. But she wasn't even it wasn't even about there wasn't a lot of Wasp in this movie. It should be like Ant-Man Quantumania. That should be the proper title for this film, because like Wasp barely, Evangeline Lilly and his and Scott's daughter Cassie barely had anything to do with um you know, they barely had anything to do in this film, which is a shame because I love, Evangeline Lilly. And I do like Catherine Newton as Cassie. I felt like the daughter, Cassie, had more to do with the story than Evangeline Lilly's, Hope Van Dyne, Wasp. But yeah, I felt like Wasp was more of a supporting, like attack, not even a supporting character, more like a tag team partner, like an assist, like you're playing like a video game or something. And it really does show it, like a tag team assist partner. So yeah, she was very underutilized. So basically, my point is that Wasp, Evangeline Lilly, was very underutilized in this film, and the same thing goes with Michael Douglas. I felt like when they were writing the script for this film, they had no idea what to do with Evangeline Lilly, and especially Evangeline Lilly and Michael Douglas. That they were like, let's just make them do all these. Let's make them do all these things that anyone else could do, but let's make them, they haven't done anything, so we'll make them do things. It's just like they were very underutilized, both Michael Douglas and Evangeline Lilly here. But yeah, but Michelle Pfeiffer and Jonathan Majors, they are the MVPs of this film. They, Michelle Pfeiffer and Jonathan Majors as King the Conqueror and the original Wasp, Janet Van Dyne, they did so much. They delivered so much. I love their performances here in this film. But and I can't stop talking about them. But yeah, there is Bill Murray, but like speaking of underutilized, Bill Murray is in this film for like one scene, for this one scene, and he has like let's say a relationship with Michelle Pfeiffer. They know each other in the quantum realm, and I'm trying not to I'm trying my best not to spoil anything. But yeah, there is two post-credit scenes. The first one is a little bit iffy. But it definitely, I did understand what they were doing, what they were implying, setting up the events of the future of Kang the Conqueror, of Kang, Jonathan Majors, but the second post-credit scene was amazing. Oh my god. I loved it. Definitely setting up the seeds of the future of the MCU. Yeah, MODOK is in this film, by the way. I mean, it's not really a spoiler because he was in the trailer. I didn't like the CGI on MODOK. I mean, but like, what can you do? What can you expect? This is MODOK we're talking about. a floating giant head with baby arms and legs. I mean, they can, Disney, Marvel, they can spend all their money just to make MODOK look so realistic and so amazing, and he would still look the same. Yeah, I mean, they did what they did. Um, you know what? Before when the trailer to this movie came out, when the first trailer to this movie came out, a lot of people were making comparisons that this is like Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania feels like Spy Kids mixed with Star Wars, mixed with Shark Boy and Lava Girl. And yeah, I definitely see that. There's a lot of that in this film. I don't know if I gave any spoilers away, but yeah, but anyway. But this whole movie, you can tell that all the actors and all these characters, they're standing in front of like a green screen. There's nothing real going, it's something, they didn't like shoot anywhere on location. The whole film, I felt like the whole film was like, took place on a sound stage, like on a stage or like on a green screen or something like that, like a very big green screen. And it shows. And even though it looks really good, at the back of my mind, I was like, yeah, this is all fake. This is all green screen. But, yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania is definitely one of the better. It's, I feel like Quantumania is right up there with the first Ant-Man movie. But I wouldn't go far. I don't hate this film. But I'm not going to go far ahead and say that this is one of the best MCU films ever. No. Yeah. I didn't... Oh, by the way, I didn't really like the characterization, of MODOK and how they handled, the character, near the end of the movie. That's all I'll say, but yeah. Is there anything else that I forgot to point out? No, I think that's it. So anyway, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking your time to listening to my review. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot. Please like, comment, subscribe, do all that great stuff, and I will see all of you lovely people really soon.